The coastline of northern Spain, which runs along the Bay of Biscay, is undoubtedly one of Europe's hidden gems. The Pyrenees Mountains, which separates France from Spain, many people will know of, but less people know that that mountain range actually continues west and becomes the limestone reaches of the Picos de Europa. Now, the Picos de Europa in Spanish means the peaks of Europe, and it got its name from the Spanish conquistadores who went to the New World of Latin America and brought back many slaves and indigenous peoples, and the route would be via the Canary Islands back up into the Bay of Biscay. And the first things these indigenous people would see upon coming to the Old World for the first time was the mountains of the Picos de Europa, the peaks of Europe they called them. Many people will know San Sebastian. It was the traditional summer quarters of the Spanish royal family. They would escape the hot frying pan of middle Spain and Madrid, and they would come to San Sebastian, and a lot of people and money and businesses came with them. As such, San Sebastian is a hotbed of beautiful architecture, amazing pinchos, which is the regional name for tapas, and seafood that is literally out of this world. Moving along the coast, you come into the province of Cantabria and then Asturias. Now, I actually lived in Asturias for about 9 months during the pandemic, so I really do know this region like the back of my hand, and it really is just one of my absolute favourite places in all of Europe and indeed the world. So within the Picos Mountains, you can do hiking, but actually our most popular tour there is just a cultural tour that takes you along that beautiful green coastline of the Bay of Biscay, looking at these little fishing villages like Llanes, and then up into the mountains, tasting delicious local cheeses that are stored in the cool caves of the mountains, and then up to see the beautiful historical architecture. A good example of this is the Cathedral of Covadonga. So Covadonga was the name of a valley, I'd say a kilometre or a mile inland from the coast. Now, for those who know your history, you will know that the Moors conquered Spain for the best part of 1,000 years. They came up from the Arabian Peninsula, along North Africa, and into the Iberian Peninsula through modern-day Morocco. The Moors made their march northward almost to the coast of the Bay of Biscay, but it was in the valley of Covadonga that King Pelayo and his forces rained down missiles and stones onto the Muslims, the Moorish invaders, and the Christians were able to push them south again. That's when began what is known as the Reconquista of Spain, when they reconquered the land and eventually were able to expel the Moorish invader back into North Africa. And so you have a lot of this amazing history, and then a lot of wealth was centered around, and it still is today, in northern Spain. A lot of that was from the conquistadores who went down into South America and brought back huge amounts of wealth of silver and gold from the local Inca and Aztec populations there. And so when you go into the local churches in Oviedo, for example, which is the capital of Asturias, the amount of gold on the icons and behind the altar is actually quite incredible. And there are a lot of very, very old, beautiful houses. Those returning conquistadores were known as Los Indios. And so you will see the Casa de los Indios, which are the big houses that they were able to build in their hometowns of Spain with their newfound wealth from the New World. Like the conquistadores who would set off from northern Spain, we'll make our way west down to the Canary Islands off the west coast of Africa. Christopher Columbus, actually, his last stop was in the island of La Gomera before he left European waters and discovered the New World. Now, YellowWood Adventures, we pride ourselves on taking the path less travelled. And the Canary Islands are known as a sort of relatively well-known holiday destination. But actually, upon my travelling and exploration of these many, many islands, I realised that there's just a huge part of them that are really remain undiscovered. So let's start off in Tenerife. Southern Tenerife is well known for its holiday resorts, but actually we go to La Laguna, which most people don't even know where that is. It's inland, it's the colonial capital, and it looks very much like northern Spain. You have cobbled streets, you have that beautiful Spanish architecture, and then the northern coast of Tenerife is very Spanish. The Spanish people go there on holiday themselves. You can surf there, and then it's much greener than you would imagine. You can go up into the high alpine forests, and then on your way you get to Mount Teide and Teide National Park. Teide is the highest mountain in all of Spain. It's a beautiful volcano, and you can go walking up there. From Tenerife, we like to take a ferry out to La Gomera, which is a very small circular island. La Gomera in Spanish means the slingshot. So it's almost like someone threw a slingshot out from Tenerife and it landed in the ocean, and that's why they call it La Gomera. Its capital, San Sebastian, is where Christopher Columbus last left Europe before discovering the New World. Again, you have this beautiful colonial architecture. There are stunning national parks there. Again, the food is very much like northern Spain, a lot of delicious seafood. But then it has this real sort of fusion of Latin American foods coming in as well, because you get a lot of Latin American, especially Venezuelans, living on the islands and cooking in the local restaurants at all different ranges of levels of restaurants. It's really, really wonderful. Taking a ferry north from La Gomera, you reach the island of La Palma, a huge, very steep, vertical volcanic island, and nestled on the coastline is Santa Cruz, the capital. Actually, a few years ago, one of the volcanoes did erupt, and you can see the lava field that slowly made its way down to the sea. Everyone was safely evacuated in time, but you can see some houses and swimming pools filled now with huge lava and didn't survive. So it's a very rough volcanic feel, as all the islands have as well. The cherry of the cake of the island of La Palma is Roca de los Muchachos, which is right up in the high national park, overlooking the whole island, the surrounding coast, and the other islands. You can see La Gomera and Tenerife from this high point. There are a number of observatories have been built there because the stargazing is just out of this world. There's no light pollution, and at night you can see the whole sprawling Milky Way over the ocean. Spain is a well-known country. It's a first world country in Europe, and it might sound funny that we've chosen it, but it's one of my favorite countries, and specifically these areas I've been describing to you, the northern Spanish coastline along the Bay of Biscay, these far western Canary Islands away from the tourist hotspots, into the forests, into the mountains. These really are authentic travel experiences, and I personally love them, and I'd welcome you to join us on some of these trips.